A woman at a South Carolina Freedom Summit drew a round of applause for comparing immigrants to rats and roaches. Now check out this video from C-SPAN.
And I want you to give advice to the 2016 candidates. What do they need to know?
One man, one vote. People are coming in this country across the borders like rats and roaches in the woodpile. We've got a state like Minnesota that says it's not our business to check them out. We just register them. We've got to get control.
Really? In Minnesota, they're just letting them in and just saying, register. No, that's very important. She said register them. Now, what does she mean by that? Well, she's falling for the conservative narrative that all these illegals are coming in and they're voting for Democrats. Well, that's the only way to explain why the Democrats won the presidency is because of all the illegals. There's no possible way that a true red-blooded American can vote for a Democrat. Well, it's not true because people who are undocumented immigrants, they can't vote. They can get, what she talks about in Minnesota, that would allow, basically this would allow undocumented immigrants to get a driver's license, so that they can actually get a job and pay taxes, which many of them do. And this whole thing would be solved with a pathway to citizenship anyway, so that they can come in, pay taxes, and work, and etc., right? But no, she thinks that they're just registering them to vote. One man, one vote, she said. Once again, this is that whole thing about the whole narrative that we're just bringing in the people by, they're busing them in to go and vote for Democrats, vote for Obama. It just shows, in many instances, the ones who are committing voter fraud were often not Republicans who are trying to rig the system because they're running out of white people, old white people. They're running out of those people and they're losing and they have to explain their losses somehow. Well, this must be it's the freebies and it's the undocumented, illegals. That's why they keep winning. No, maybe it's because your policies are terrible. And your policies only help a very small subset of people. That would be the rich and the powerful and the corporations. Maybe a little bit of an explanation. And look, speaking of that, speaking of the rich and powerful corporations, this woman is actually the mother-in-law of Citizens United Foundation head Dave Bossie. So this woman has got connections to the Citizens United Foundation. What an interesting connection. Obviously a right-wing foundation, right? That supports huge amounts of money in politics from guess who? The corporations. And it's ironic that it's one man, one vote. Well, considering what your son-in-law does, advocates for, well, you would actually be in support of one corporation, one vote. Because that's essentially what it's doing, is that you're allowing corporations and wealthy individuals to buy politicians and to buy their votes. So I just wanted to point out that little bit of irony on this whole thing. Now, she also continues. Years ago, I might have been a Democrat, but I saw a problem and I went to the Republican Party. I didn't wait for them to come for me. Why do these young people have to be solicited? We're all intelligent people. We need to be voting our convictions and choose a party. Well, most people do choose their convictions and they choose a party, which is why overwhelmingly the last two elections, they chose the Democratic Party. Because when they come out and vote, and they don't have restrictions on them, people choose people who will actually try to help make their lives better and the country better. Whereas when people stay home or when people are disenfranchised, that's when Republicans win, and we saw that. We saw some of that during the midterms, 2014, and we also saw Democrats attempting to be Republican light, which also made people kind of stay home. So there you go. There's just a load of hypocrisy in this whole thing, as well as the apparent dehumanization of immigrants. Stay classy, Republican Party.